What's up, everybody, man? Back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're doing another Godzilla Kong Supernova deep dive breakdown. Today we are revisiting the Godzilla Kong Supernova title card teaser because, hey, I'm not perfect. I might have pointed out 79 things you missed in the last teaser, but that doesn't mean that I caught everything. Today we're going to be talking about another 15 things that you guys pointed out that I missed that are actually, some of them are pretty game-changing, and one of them is brutally embarrassing. I truly don't know how I possibly could have missed it, and so stick around for the very end to hear about that one. But let's jump back into this teaser and cover all the rest of the things that there are to break down. Thank you guys so much for all the support I've gotten lately. I really appreciate all the support on my teaser breakdown, and I really appreciate you guys so much. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We are growing so fast. Join D-Force today. It would mean a lot. Let's talk about the things that I missed in this teaser. There's some pretty interesting ones. Starting out, this one I think is unintentional, but a lot of people in my comments pointed out how the pyramids in the trailer, you know, we talked about those futuristic alien pyramids. And if you haven't seen my original teaser breakdown, go check that out right now so you can get caught up, or by all means, stick around, watch this video first, and then go watch that one for the rest of the breakdown. But while I was analyzing those pyramids, a lot of you guys pointed out that they actually look very similar to some of the pyramids seen in Godzilla Unleashed on the space map. Now, I'll be honest, I haven't played Godzilla Unleashed in years. I completely forgot this space map existed, but looking at the gameplay here, it does look very similar. Shout out to Super Goji Gaming for uploading this video, by the way. I totally see it, but I'll be honest, I think it is an accidental Easter egg, which actually would not be the MonsterVerse's first accidental Easter egg to Godzilla Unleashed. If you remember, Godzilla achieves his burning Godzilla state in Godzilla King of the Monsters, and before he does so, Rick Stanton mentions that Godzilla is reaching critical mass. Of course, in Godzilla Unleashed, when you reached critical mass, you unlocked the burning state version of Godzilla anyway. So interestingly, like, it lined up, but Michael Dougherty confirmed that was not an intentional Easter egg. I think that's what we're seeing here with the pyramids. I don't think it's an intentional Easter egg. Next up, some of you guys pointed out that Godzilla's roar doesn't sound quite normal in the teaser. If you listen to it, yeah, it's Godzilla's roar, right? Let's listen. But it does sound a little different. Now, I think there's a couple reasons for this. First of all, evolved Godzilla's roars are a little different than normal Godzilla's roars. They're a little more gritty, a little more grimy. Secondly, I think that they just kind of shortened Godzilla's roar for the teaser reveal. They wanted to make it shorter so that the teaser could be 40-ish seconds or whatever. And, you know, that's why they kind of snipped the roar, made it shorter. But I do hear it. I do hear there's a different ending to the roar. There's like this... That's a spot-on impression, by the way. There's like that noise right under the end of the roar. What is that? If I'm being really wishful, it sounds a bit like a modernized version of Ghidorah's old beady beady beady. I don't think that's what it is. I think that's just Godzilla breathing. We've heard Godzilla make noises similar to that before when he breathes out, and the original ending of Godzilla's roar from way back in 2014 had this really nice trill to it. That they got rid of at some point, and I never understood why they got rid of it. It was really cool. I don't think that there's too much to go on there, but a lot of people think that that's evidence that it is Spacegodzilla, or that we're hearing another monster's roar underneath Godzilla's roar, which could be possible. Spacegodzilla's roar in the Toho continuity has a very different roar than Godzilla, and so I'm not expecting, if Spacegodzilla shows up, for it to just have Godzilla's roar, but slightly different. As pointed out by Morpherlink, I really appreciated your comment, call centers, which they worked in a 911 call center for a long time, call centers are actually shared spaces. That means that multiple workers work at the same desks, and yes, some workers can customize the desks that they mostly work at, but in order to make sure that call centers are 24/7, these desks are often shared spaces between multiple people on multiple shifts. So it's possible that the clutter on the desk isn't simply left by Kaitlyn Dever's character, but by the other people who share that desk during different shifts as well. It was also pointed out that the folders off to the side are most likely standardized scripts that employees could follow during calls in order to help people through various scenarios they might be calling in about. Pre-written scripts, basically. The screen itself actually shows that the call is active. There is an active call going on from Arizona, and that the caller has been placed on hold while the call taker has left their desk. It seems that the call taker is Kaitlyn Dever's character. The date on the computer screen under the emergency alert actually reads 2025. A lot of people were wondering if this is going to be a flashback, or maybe this is when the movie is set or something. That doesn't make too much sense given that Godzilla Kong: The New Empire takes place in 2027. It could be be a flashback, but I don't think so. We don't know of any big Titan events that happen in 2025. I think that this is most likely just a mistake that was simply made for marketing. It's actually the date that the teaser came out. You know, the date you see there, that's when this teaser came out. That's what the date represents. This is something I found interesting. The calls in the trailer could be another reference to the fact that this new monster was called to combat from space. I did make an entire video discussing where I think the threat might be coming from, and one of my big theories is that maybe the threat was summoned from outer space due to some activity on Earth. Go check out my video to hear more about that. The only monster that we really know of that was directly called to Earth and summoned from outer space to go to war with Godzilla in the Toho series was Gigan himself, so that could be very interesting if it winds up being Gigan. Behind the Kong mug, as revealed in a bonus image posted on the Legendary Shop website, as they are actually selling the Keep Kong and Carry On mugs, we can see a fidget ball, paper clips strung together showing that somebody's got a distracted mind at this desk, not a lot to do again, and a paper with Monarch logos doodled all over it, including some of them that are a little more star-like than others. One of them is very clearly a star. Yet another indication that we gotta be watching this space. Something is coming from space in this new movie, whether it be a form of cosmic radiation causing Godzilla to go all mutated, as we'll talk about in a little bit, or a space monster itself. The space theme is undeniable. It also says on this note here, underlined and everything, Behemoth. Could this hint to Behemoth's possible return in this new movie? Of course, Rio is referenced, and Rio is where Behemoth is from. As much as I would love that, and I'd be very excited for that, I think that this is just an obvious Easter egg to Grant Spator's other comic book. Grant Spator wrote a comic book titled Behemoth. This is kind of like how in Godzilla 2014, there's this little cute Easter egg to Gareth Edwards' movie Monsters. This is crazy. I definitely didn't get to talk about this in my other breakdown, but Alicia Debnam Carey, who is one of the actors in this new movie, she posted the teaser on Instagram to promote this new film. And when she did so, she teased it with some very curious emojis. The twins. What are the twins doing there? If you read it like it's text, it seems like the twins are calling Spacegodzilla. That's kind of what it seems like if you read it, because it's obviously a star and then Godzilla. It's twins, a call, and then space, and then Godzilla. All the actors who have used emojis for this movie have used the dinosaur to represent Godzilla, and they often use that star to represent space, it seems. Now, this does seem like a pretty strong allusion to Spacegodzilla, not just because the star and then the Godzilla that follow, the space dinosaur. Again, it could be an off-brand version, like literally an off-brand legendary version, which is like a space dragon, space dinosaur that fills in for Spacegodzilla. But a lot of people have pointed out in the comments, this is a very familiar plotline. This seems like a potential reference to Godzilla vs. Spacegodzilla 1994. In that film, Mothra's Cosmos returned to give a warning that Spacegodzilla is coming to destroy Earth. The Cosmos themselves, the mystical twins, appear and give the warning. Is this hinting to the Mothra twins returning in this new movie? I would love that. We need Dr. Chen and Dr. Ling back. They are such vital characters to the lore of the MonsterVerse, and it is brutal that they've been forgotten about. The fans have been crying for it forever. We've wanted it for a long time. They were supposed to be in Godzilla vs. Kong. Of course, they were supposed to be in the post-credits of that movie with Mothra being reborn. A lot of people's biggest critique of Mothra in the New Empire is how little she fits into the lore of the MonsterVerse, and in particular, how she doesn't relate to the twins at all. It does seem like with King of the Monsters mostly all but being forgotten, these twins will be forgotten with it, and so if Mothra's Cosmos appear in this movie, maybe they're brand new versions of the characters, maybe they're the tiny fairies from the Toho mythology, and we just completely ignore the infantile and backstory and the Mothra twins from King of the Monsters. I would hope not, though, given the Rick Stanton reference. If Rick Stanton can get a reference, why can't they? They don't even need to be big characters to appear again. Legendary does have continued access to Mothra at the moment, as we've also seen Mothra will be appearing in the new Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong comic, and she was of course in GXK The New Empire. It seems very possible. That one is a very interesting theory. This next one, I don't know what to make of it, to be honest with you guys. Partway through the teaser, as we're zooming in on the desk, if you look just barely on screen in the corner right next to the photo, it seems to be Sam Neill's photo, and then on the channel we're thinking that this is going to be Caitlin Dever's mother's photo. It does seem like all of the desk decor seems to be Caitlin Dever's character, so maybe whoever shares the desk with her in a different shift didn't really get to customize it. In the back by those photos, you can see this red dinosaur looking thing. What is that thing? I don't know. I will admit I noticed it during my trailer breakdown in the edit. I didn't think anything of it because I thought that it was like another representation of that little Godzilla bobblehead. If you go watch my teaser breakdown, you'll see I do think that that new Godzilla bobblehead is going to reference Godzilla's upcoming design. One theory I saw that is way more interesting is that that little Godzilla bobblehead represents little Godzilla, the little Godzilla who is green. Is this Baby Godzilla's first teaser? Of course, Kong got Suko in the last movie. Kong now now has a son in the MonsterVerse, and it obviously did an enormous amount to progress his story arc. A lot of people, including myself, feel that the way to progress Godzilla's story arc is to give him a son as well. Could this be the first look at little Godzilla? It does kind of look like little Godzilla. I could definitely see that, especially with the green. But I ignored the little creature in the background at first, until I saw other people talking about it, and I took another look at it, and it's undeniable. It's this little red stuffed Godzilla looking creature with what appears to be flipper fingernails, which could just be the Stuffy's fingers, as a lot of Stuffies represent fingers differently. A little bit more of like an aquatic version of fingers, and these tan fins on its head. This tan or brown fins on its head. Is this everybody's fan favorite Titanosaurus? I don't know. It looks shockingly similar to Godzilla Aquatilis from Godzilla Singular Point, who was of course our riff on Titanosaurus. Maybe this is another look at Godzilla's next evolution in this movie. In a kind of twist, rather than having Godzilla Aquatilis turn into Godzilla Ultima eventually, maybe we're going from Godzilla to something a little more like Godzilla Aquatilis, where he becomes a little more red. Maybe the green Godzilla is little Godzilla, and this red Godzilla is what Godzilla will look like. Maybe it hints to Godzilla going into another burning mode in this new movie. Of course, burning Godzilla is a big theory that we'll even discuss later on. Or maybe it's everybody's favorite Titanosaurus making an appearance in the MonsterVerse. I think it's personally gonna be a throwaway gag. Like, I don't personally think that it means a ton. It could be a brand new Titan who is like another MonsterVerse off-brand version, like how Scylla's sort of the off-brand Kumonga. Maybe this red Godzilla Stuffy will be the off-brand MonsterVerse Titanosaurus. Or maybe it's just the cute little monster dinosaur Stuffy. We actually see a couple throwaway toys on this desk. If you look here again in this Kong mug picture, you get a much better look at this little green dinosaur, which again, maybe it's a hint to Godzilla turning green in the movie, as I've theorized before, with its tongue sticking out. I don't think that means anything. I think it's just this cute little dinosaur toy. And of course, this purple and greenish dinosaur pen off to the side of the frame. I think both of these mean nothing. I don't think they actually mean anything at all. I think they're just there because Monarch deals with monsters and dinosaur-ish things, so they're there to be a little cute Easter egg to that. Also, I do think it's interesting that the Monarch mug picture with the paper clips spread out across the paper in the background doesn't actually line up with the look of that part of the desk that we see in the teaser. The papers does not have all the paper clips on it, and that dinosaur pen is actually not in the teaser either. One other detail is that there's this little key card as well that kind of looks like Caitlin Dever's photo on it. It sits in front of the Godzilla bobblehead. But yeah, overall, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this red dinosaur thing. A lot of people are really hopeful that it'll be Titanosaurus. I don't think Legendary would spend the money licensing Titanosaurus. He's not a big enough name. It could just be a Godzilla Stuffy, an artistic stylization of Godzilla, or it could just be a throwaway dinosaur. I don't know. But it would be cool if it was Titanosaurus. I'd love that. I've seen a lot of people wondering, what if Godzilla is the one going supernova in this new movie? I've also wondered myself if Supernova is going to be the name of the new enemy. Like, what if the enemy shows up and it's called Supernova? I don't know about that one, because that, like, why wouldn't the last one be called, like, Godzilla Kong Scar King or something silly? Could be the new monster's name. But yeah, what if Godzilla is the one going supernova? What if he goes burning Godzilla mode, which I've talked about in a couple videos now, and his burning state is so powerful that it's like going supernova. I've even seen people suggest that if you go supernova, like when a star goes supernova, it collapses and explodes. Does that foreshadowing Godzilla's gonna die? And if so, is he gonna pass the torch to a little Godzilla? Again, tying back into the red Stuffy, the burning Godzilla, and the green bobblehead, a baby Godzilla. It could be Godzilla could die and be replaced by a younger Godzilla. I personally would not want Godzilla to die in the MonsterVerse, at least not until the very last movie, like Godzilla vs. Destroya style, but it could happen. I don't know. Maybe a star or the sun unleashes cosmic radiation and Godzilla absorbs it all the way that he absorbed the sun's radiation in Tiamat's lair in Godzilla Kong the New Empire, and it causes him to evolve and enter his final supernova state. That very well could be. A lot of people pointed out how the title cards seem to kind of reflect the movies themselves, with Godzilla vs. Kong being blue contrasting with orange, representing Godzilla contrasting with Kong, although I'll point out it was really more of green contrasting with orange in most of the GVK promos and material, so I don't know if that really works out. And then in the New Empire, it's obviously like blue and pink and purple, and Godzilla obviously goes from blue to pink in the movie, and this one's now this purple cosmic color going supernova burning on the title card. Possible that Godzilla goes burning mode from his evolved state where he's pink and then he turns into like a purple burning Godzilla. Very possible. Of course, Shin Godzilla was purple and everybody loved that. It was very royal and very awesome, so it could happen. I don't know. The final thing I missed in this teaser, and I cannot believe I missed this, is the sticky note itself. I was wondering if that password was going to have anything to do with the ARG. Well, first of all, it was pointed out that maybe the sticky note's there because this is a shared desk and multiple people need to log into that computer, but the password itself is very obvious what it means. 3/26/27, that is 3/26/2027, that's the release date of the new movie. That's when the new movie is coming out on March 26th, 2027. The GXO on there could be a little sneaky password referencing something coming up. I've seen some people think it's maybe the X's represent the Exilians or Ghidorah's return. I don't know. The Exilian connection seems pretty flimsy to me. I've also seen some people think that it's maybe a way to refer to Godzilla X Kong, although it doesn't totally line up. Some people have even interpreted that the X on there could be a K that is crooked and miswritten, although that feels wild. Like, how would you miswrite a K that bad? That's clearly an X. But I do think the Godzilla X makes the most sense. The GX, it kind of makes the most sense to me. But it's very, very clearly just a reference to the release date of the movie. We'll wait and see if the GSXO means anything in the future, but for now, I don't really think it does. And that will do it for this one. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Thank you for pointing all that stuff out. I love having these ongoing discussions. If there are any other theories or thoughts you want to hear me talk about in an upcoming video, please comment below and let me know. As always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. It is through the support of the patrons on Patreon that I'm able to continue to make videos like this for you in the first place. It's the most direct way to support this channel. If you want to support the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. And if that's not your thing, please consider joining as a channel member. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I am having so much fun breaking down Supernova and being on the Supernova hype train. I hope you are too. I will see you all next time for the next one. D-Man out.